very good morning to everyone. After the educative sessions, now we are coming in for a scintillating panel discussion that all of you are going to enjoy. The panel discussion is Occupational Therapy in Gen Z. The moderator for this session is Dr. Sriharsh Jahagirdar. You've, I'm sure, seen him around a lot, since he is the in charge or chairperson of the scientific committee. He's also the assistant professor at TN Medical College and BYL Nair Hospital. He is the convener of Mumbai branch of AIOTA and the coordinator for all fellowship activities in advanced occupational therapy. He is a fellow of Academic Council of Occupational Therapy of AIOTA. He's a recipient of AIOTA's Young Achiever Award. He's on the review board of Indian Journal of Occupational Therapy. He's been a scientific committee member 3 times and a co-chairperson of scientific committee once. He's also been a scientific committee chairman of OTICON 2024. So I welcome Sriharsh.
Ready? And where is the Gen Z? Are we telecasting it live? Anyway, so welcome to the panel discussion of OTICON 2024, OT Education in Gen Z. So we have an eminent panelist today, and it is a mix of Gen X to Gen Z. Yeah. So our first panelist, Dr. Jyotika Bijlani ma'am. She's been the Dean Eckhart, as you know, the longest Dean Eckhart. She's been the former head of OT School and Center at LTMMC, Mumbai. She's been an active educationist and been responsible for the educational accreditation of all the AIOTA educational activities. Welcome, ma'am. Yes. Next, we have a very senior faculty member, Dr. Professor R.K. Sharma, sir. He is currently the Dean of Paramedical and Allied Health Sciences at Santosh Deemed to be University at Ghaziabad. He is worked as a co-investigator in research projects sponsored by ICMR. He's developed a disability evaluation method used by WHO and across India. He's been the chairman of the Committee of Physiotherapy and Occupational Therapy Council at Delhi government. He is coordinator of subcommittee of CCS University for ordinance, rules, regulation and syllabus for MOT and MPT programs, and hence that discipline and assertiveness that what we want to bring to this stage. Dr. R.K. Sharma, Professor Dr. R.K. Sharma. And another eminent speaker, Dr. Sanjeev Padankatti, sir. He heads the Occupational Therapy Services at Christian Medical College, Vellore. Sorry for that.
Sorry for the glitch, sir. Very sorry.
He has 30 publications in international and peer-reviewed journals. He is the recipient of Bayer International Caregiver Award and Grant in 2009 and AIOTA's Professional Excellence Award in 2019. He is a fellow of Academic Council of Occupational Therapy of AIOTA and is a former executive EC of AIOTA. His specializations is in the workplace ergonomics, occupational health, and also he has keen in clinical focus of hemophilia, and he's certified in sensory integration from USA. Welcome, sir. We have the fourth panelist, who's a very young and dynamic assistant professor, Dr. Noor Mohammed. He is an assistant professor in the Department of Occupational Therapy, Jamia Hamdard, over 10 years of experience in the field of occupational therapy. His specialization in neurological conditions, and he has formerly served as an occupational therapist and consultant in various esteemed setups in New Delhi, NCR. He has participated in several national and international conferences. He has published articles in journals and awarded with prestigious Kamla B. Nimkar Award for the best scientific paper in 2021. And as you know, on the first day of conference, he is the Young OT Achiever, recipient of the Young OT Achiever Award of AIOTA. So he is the one, the link between the X and the Z. Of course, me too. We have the next panelist, the Gen Z senior, Dr. Yash Dedia. He is currently pursuing his master's in neurosciences at TN Medical College and Nair Hospital in Mumbai. He's got a bachelor's from Sagias Medical College, and he is enthusiastic towards academic and research work with multiple presentations at intercollegiate symposiums, paper and poster presentations. A curious active learner with active participation in various occupational therapy clinical workshops, seminars and education sessions. Apart from being that, he is a Himalayan trekker and a marathoner with interest in traveling, arts and digital content creation. Welcome. And our true Gen Z, Ms. Malvika Saha. An aspiring occupational therapy final year student from Manipal, Mahe, deemed as head of social. She's the head of social media team for CC Mahe for 2 consecutive years. She stood 3rd place in 3K category at Manipal, 3-kilometer category at Manipal Marathon, award for best essay in Vigilant Awareness Week essay competition, and various achievements, as you can see. And she is very passionate about traveling and enjoys capturing moments through photography. And before even we start the conversation, you can see the generation drift in their CVs itself. So we welcome Malvika. Malvika, you have to sit here. So we have a panel, and with no further ado, I'll start with the Generation Z itself. Yes, Malvika. Okay, we all assembled in this auditorium want to have a paradigm shift in OT education which suits the needs of the Generation Z. I want to know what exactly are you looking for the education in OT, one, and what are the current aspects or features of the syllabus which are conducive and which need to be revised or re-looked upon. Mike, please.
Okay, good morning everyone. I'm Malvika and I am representing all the Gen Zs over here. Okay, so as for the education system, I'd say I think we are a more technology-based generation. We were like born with technology. I mean, not exactly as a Gen Alpha, which is the one after us, but we are the generation who is more into the social media world. So if you see, I think like the other day how we had a discussion, there were a lot of points that we came up with. So one was definitely that the theories and everything that we learn in classes, definitely what we need, everything. But then one thing would be that our generation requires more of something that is more visually and auditory stimulating. So we enjoy some.
Continue. It's not working. Yes, it's working.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I was saying, yeah, we are a generation who's more into social medias and everything which is very attractive, very appealing. So just sitting in class and listening to something is not something that I wouldn't say that we are not appreciative, but we can get bored easily. So during COVID, I think our batch, especially 2020 and 2021, whoever have joined, we started off only on a bad foot because of COVID, and everything just shifted from classes to the online medium through Teams, Google Meet, or anything like that. So I think that was when we started with lot of technology, a lot of technological ways of educating ourselves. So our teachers used a lot of mediums like, say, Kahoot and Mentimeters and stuff like that. So that was something which is very interesting because in school, obviously, it was all like a chalk and duster and everything. And what we know of college, we know that they were all presentations and classes. So we didn't really start off with something like that. But I think that was what picked our interest. And since then, when I see even online, you'll see a lot of educational videos out there. So all of us here, we know, we watch Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, just those 15, 30-second videos. And I was, I think, talking to everyone the other day about our attention span going down because of the thing. But how to improvise that? One major thing could be invoking, putting OT material in our reels. So that is something that we would all watch. And like an extracurricular thing also. So I would appreciate if we could have a lot of extracurricular things. For example, use of social media. I am in the social media team of the university, so I do a lot of content creation. Our university, our OT department itself has a lot of talented people. So we're just thinking if something like that could be done. And apart from that, yeah, theoretical. So if you don't mind.
Any challenges what thing you want to change in the current curriculum, or what are challenging things?
Okay, one thing would be the load of the syllabus. It's very burden.
The load of the syllabus. Maybe we need to have a little thinner paper to print the syllabus.
No, I mean, the syllabus is good, yes, but I think for an 8 to 5 sort of schedule, it's too much for us. Very.
You are
Everyone
stealing
agrees.
the audience.
Yes, so through personal experience, if I have to say, it's become very stressful these days, probably because now I'm in the final year, so there are a lot of assignments, a lot of, clinical field work, a lot of presentations and stuff to write. So we don't know how to sort our time. Time management is something that we really need, our generation really needs. So some classes or anything that can help us de-stress ourselves. I think Dr. R.K. Sharma sir was mentioning a lot of things the other day about how he starts
We'll come to that.
Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of things like that. And I think the syllabus is the main thing.
Okay.
The content is not the problem. It's just the quantity.
Quantity. Okay. We'll go to Yash. How is it important for Gen Z to have more than what is given in the syllabus, and why is it needed, and why is it so overwhelming to be more into the curriculum?
Hello. So, as Gen Z, we have multiple things to do. It is not just academics and studies. It is social relationships, extracurricular activities, other interests, as well as social media, as she already spoke about. So what Gen Z looks is more of work-life balance that Gen X has not thought of. They didn't have the privilege to think of it. But we have the opportunity and privilege to think of work-life balance. So at times it gets overwhelming given the load of the syllabus. And our attitude of Gen Z is like, we want very specific. Let's come to the straight point. Let's not just go around and round. Let's just stick to the point. What do we actually need? So that's why more structured the syllabus, it will get more easier for us.
Okay. With that, I come to our Dean Eckhart, who's been on this position and been involved in actively revising the syllabus and having the standards for occupational therapy education. How have your perspective as a Dean Eckhart and an academic head of AIOTA changed your vision from the Gen X that you were 10 years back to now what you're doing in current era, the fellowship programs and all those?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I believe, yeah, and these are like my children, maybe my like a grandchildren. What they say, they want everything very quick, fast, because they are technology-based system. They are in the world of all digital world. So I understand them. I understand that they want everything specific. But as far as the occupational therapy is concerned, we have to, you can't just tell them very much limited knowledge or limited, I understand the syllabus is large, but at the same time, the details of the contents, if you have not understood the foundation, the basic knowledge, if they have not understood, it will be very difficult to practice again in the clinical, when you are practicing clinically. Yes, they want everything fast. At the same time, no attention. Their focus is very limited. They are not been, 1 hour lecture, they are not been able to sit for a longer time. But at the same time, I agree with them, thinking that they need to have more social life and more extracurricular activities. So we thought that since when I have become a dean, the didactic lectures were much more, the period, I'm talking about the number of hours, were much more than the demonstration, practicum and all those things. So considering the Generation Z, and I being in the boomer, not even X, I'm from that boomer generation, that is after the age of, from the age of 64 to 73, I think 50, yeah.
Ma'am, don't reveal ages.
Yeah. So I'm not even from the Generation X, but I will agree with them, but not fully, because that's what I try to. So how we try to make the changes, that from didactic to more towards the practicum, more hands-on therapy to be taught to them, and that is how even the, what you call it, the syllabus is also, we are making the changes. So now I feel the hours of didactic should be lesser than the hours of the clinical training and hours of the demonstration and practicum, so that they also don't get bored. But at the same time, you have to learn in details so that you understand because we are going to work on the human beings. So it is. So this is how I have done it, and hence still considering them, maybe we will revise the curriculum considering these people.
I think that's the whole idea, that we have this platform to think about or brainstorm about what exactly they need. So nothing for them without them. So I want to ask Dr. R.K. Sharma, sir, as Malvika said, it's too overwhelming for them to have this volume of syllabus. How have you seen the change of students over a period of time? You've been like, and at the same time, you have been matching up with Gen Z he's been attending fellowship program as a participant and been updated in most of the workshops, like he's there and he had also traveled to Mumbai for an REBT workshop at this. What drives you and what drives them? How is the difference?
Thank you very much, Dr. One thing is there that at present in this panel I am feeling little bit misfit because I am senior boomer. I am 75 plus. Okay, even then it's a number. But personally speaking, my thinking is ahead than Gen Z even.
Oh, visionary.
Yes, because what I feel, I'll take 1 minute about just to tell, but I feel that this is the moment what we are spending, this is my moment. And this moment, by virtue of grace of God, has been given. So I must learn what is going on today and what will probably happen tomorrow. So this generation G is my generation, because I'm trying to put my foot in their shoes. And I'm not giving my shoes that you put your foot
That's a
in
very
this.
powerful point that he has come up with. We have always been telling the Generation Z, if you have been into my shoes, but there's a paradigm shift that I think as an educationist is a very powerful tool that you are actually inviting them to, be in their position. That's really nice. That's really powerful about it.
Yes, and I have been having 50 years of teaching experience. So I have seen 3 generations of my students also, and I'm growing with them. What I do in my institutions, I'm not trying to praise it about the institution. All institutions are excellent and doing very well. But didactic lectures are very less. And I don't follow letter and spirit the syllabus. My students give the choice of their syllabus. The topic is with them, and then they give me the lesson plan, that what they would like to cover up in didactic and practical. So
I want to interrupt you. Lesson plan. What's that? I mean, we have always
Lesson
heard
plan-
about lectures. We are already
No.
about clinical time. What is this
lesson plan is that I have to take up some topic, and what subheads I have to cover up that topic. So in that they will suggest that this much we need theory, and this we need practical, and this we need hands-on. So this is a lesson plan which students suggest for the particular topic, keeping in view the basic funda of the syllabus and curriculum. We cannot divert it.
Yes.
So, Malvika, that makes more practical, because students become the partner to the class. So, making them partner for that work and activity, they take interest. And when they become at the driver's seat, and I am at a conductor seat, so the things become more important.
So there's one more theme that really coming up is partnering in education. I mean, Generation Z needs to be a partner in the whole process, and also, as you said, we need their need and our wisdom, I think, should go along well to have a smooth
yes.
road.
Yes. So that is what I particularly use in my process of education. So I always tell my students that अगर मजबूर मुश्किल हो तो अपने उस्ताद खुद बन जाओ. So that is a very important aspect, and that keeps me going for last 5 decades, as a teacher, because I am not a professor. Professors confuses the things, teacher makes it simple. So I always say that I am a teacher, I am not a professor. That is also very important thing.
With that, I stem up. You want to say something? Add something more?
No, I said that I am not a professor.
Yeah,
by virtue of my experience, I have got it, but I am a teacher.
Teacher.
Teacher makes the thing simple. Professor confuses it. So that makes a...
With this, I get the next question for Dr. Sanjeev Padankatti, sir. How do you see as sir mentioned about professor, teacher, the latest what the Gen Z needs is a mentorship. How do you see the roles different, being a professor, teacher, and a mentor, and how you deal with the students of this era?
Thank you, Yash. See, the thing is, if I can just touch on what Malvika and Yash just raised, and the discussion should actually now center on their concerns. I mean, tangible changes, and where do I make change? When they talk of quantity, okay, you need to understand, the first thing is we need to develop a philosophy of practice for the Indian condition. We cannot ape the West anymore. See, the problem here again, in terms of time, you read the Willard-Spackman, you translate that to Indian practice, that takes time. Terminologies take time. It's high time we developed a Willard-Spackman for India. First. The second thing you need to understand, see, certain concepts, like for example, our teaching methodology, which is there in the Mumbai University syllabus, which is there in MBBS syllabus, is a redundant concept. Look at medical education and look at their teaching, look at what medical education is teaching. Now we're striving to push our teaching methodology in par with what medical education demands. Okay, so what are the needs of a competent teacher? Another thing that I would like to say is, see, we keep adding on to what, say, R.K. Sharma ji or Madam learned, I learned, and new learning adds on top of it, which increases the volume that students learn. And with the coming of the ICF, see, we were so interested, like all other professions, looking at the problems with body and structure and function. But now there's a big impetus towards activity and participation. So if you're going to look in that direction and look at occupational therapy as a holistic profession, which looks at the impact of a disorder or disease, the immediate signs and symptoms which you will tackle at an acute setup, and look at the impact thereafter, believe me, the volume of instructional learning as well as what you're going to practice is going to increase. There's no doubt about that. So we need to look at syllabus. We have, like back in the MGR University, we have a syllabus revision every 4 years. There is a big demand saying we need to include and incorporate items which will please the West. That's because there's a serious demand of our students wanting to go to the West, and the transcript should say so. So that's a demand, and that demand cannot be overlooked. The second is what is redundant needs to be removed. And I think the Dean has to take the initiative on this, and we need to have a kind of a uniform minimum standards across India so that there is not one group of students from one university taxed, whereas another, and I think Manipal has a fantastic, I'm quite surprised that Malvika is raising the bar about and concern about the Manipal syllabus, because Manipal has quite a vibrant syllabus that's going on. So I think we need to look at it and keep it up to date to what we want. Just coming back briefly to mentorship, I think we need to walk the talk. See, as a mentor, we need to walk the talk. See, this high-handedness of a Gurukul system where I sit in my office and I don't connect with my students, now that should go. So if you see back in my institution, part of education, we have 2 batch in charges who are not very much older than that student group, who the students can connect with at any point in time, and this is non-syllabic connections.
Non-syllabic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have a mentor who's a senior faculty who can take decisions in my absence. All right?
So there is a constant connect
yes,
between.
there's a constant connect. So the student doesn't feel neglected even during the active clinical or classroom process, and even after 4:30 when they're back in the hostels. And this has proved, this mentorship and batch in chargeship has proved effective. So students feel connected to the institution and there's no disconnect once they finish and leave.
So we have already had 2 set of systems actually dealing with students. One sir said about time management and the lesson plan of partnership, and sir is talking about mentorship and having a in charge and having a constant connect with all levels with students. I think we are going really great here, and I'm sure we are going to come up with a good action plan. Let me come to Noor. Noor, you've been partly swaying between Gen X, Y, Z, Y and Z. So how is it different from you being a student and now a novice teacher? How have things changed? Be it be OT education or it be the stress of OT education?
Thank you so much for giving us this platform and discuss on a topic which is completely student-centric. And I also want to appreciate and congratulate you, Dr. Srihash, for organizing this panel discussion. So coming to the question, what I feel like we are in a transition period. We have witnessed recently the COVID-19 pandemic, okay? And because of which the teaching and learning is shifted online and onto hybrid modes, which is not going to go back any further. And also because of that, the students and more feel connected with the online mode of teaching. Since as the Malvika said, that students are more into the contents which are provided online and on the social media platforms, they are more engaging. And I accept all the comments by senior dignitaries provided here that we cannot simply reduce the content, but it is also a possibility that we have to make that content more engaging and uh, which is liked by our younger population. It's not that they don't want to learn, but it's just that they want more engaging way of learning, which I feel is the requirement of the time for today. And we need to get acquaintance with the latest updated technologies, multimedia softwares, platforms, which will help us to make our students give better understanding about the curriculum.
So how do you make a link between the old school and the new school?
See, we have to become more technical advanced. As a teacher, as a professional, we also need to get updated with all the platforms, whether it is Kahoot application, Zoom, WebEx, or whatever the learning modalities are available in the market. We need to get acquaintance with that and need to provide the, whether it is assessment of the student or hands-on training. We can use always the virtual reality for the, there are many softwares which provide the virtual reality to learn the anatomy of the body. And similarly, which we can have the simulated virtual reality environment for the ADL training also. But it's
So
just
a lot of homework for new era teachers.
absolutely, and we cannot deny that because we are living in the transition phase, and student wants more advanced technologies. And also I would like to add, in the curriculum part, it's not only the hard skills which is required. We need to make our students learn about the soft skills also, how to conduct themselves, how to project their professional, and we need to make them future ready for the upcoming uncertain demand of the market. It's not only the patient-centric approach which will help them to become a better professional.
Okay, with
What
that, I
happens?
think I generate a new question for either Yash or Malvika. How are these soft skills lagging in the current OT syllabus, talking about technology, finances, and all that? How do you feel that there's a need for these kind of parallel skills or soft skills along with what a core OT curriculum? Yash, if you want to share, and then Malvika.
Okay. So, soft skills, I think there is definitive lag in communication skills of Generation Z, as we all are engaged in social media conversations. So, more of slangs, and we keep it to the point, very specific. And there is definitely lack of soft skills. And as Dr. Noor said that Gen X has to be technologically advanced, it will be very difficult for them to learn at this age. So,
No.
some of them.
Yes.
So,
Yes. They are quick, and he proved it.
so it has to be a partnering between students and Gen X, Gen Z and Gen X. As Gen Z, we are well versed with technological tools. We will help you to teach those skills. And as Gen X, you will share your experiences and perspectives and work on our communication skills. So this is what mentorship will look like. And in this era, it is not like teacher will give directives or instructions. We will not tolerate at all. This is most of the Gen Z will think about. I'm sure you will agree, right? So, it has to be partnership. We have to hold our hands together and walk this path. It has to be sharing each other's perspectives, respecting it, accepting it.
I'm talking about the soft skills of one. You talked about communication. Anything else like how economic literacy or anything about that you use into your day-to-day life to enhance your OT skills and practice?
Yeah. So one thing I specifically think that OT field lacks is financial literacy. So none of the syllabus or the teaching tool explains us how have to we financially plan, because it is, when we move out in the real world, it is the most definitive skill that we will need to run a private clinics or administration work or organization. And so we definitely have to incorporate these specific lessons into our syllabus, most commonly financial literacy. Yeah.
Leadership quality. Malvika, you've been on so many groups, you've been a young leader of your college, how did that come in? I mean, to declare on this platform, Malvika is a budding autist of a budding parent, of a very well-known parent, occupational therapist, Dr. Shovan Shah. So I think the whole culture has been transformed into her, and yet when I had asked for a name to her HOD, she gave me this, and then I didn't realize that it is Saha. Then when I realized it and I asked, she said it is devoid of any kind of prejudices. I have given her name because she has her own way of thinking and the own way of expressing. So how does this leadership quality come from? How is it mentorship, or it is an innate need to be a leader, or does our curriculum support it?
I think the curriculum actually does support it, but then the practicality, I don't know about other colleges, but in Manipal we do have that, as in we do go out for a lot of community outreach programs. We have the community postings and anything and everything, all the postings that we have. I think one thing that our teachers do expect from us or want us, more like they push us to, is being there, as in leading a session. They make sure that each one has at least one chance to lead a particular session, be it in the same day or any day, any posting day. Come up, as a group, we would discuss, plan a good session, and it's one of us who would lead. And it doesn't matter whether you're good at speaking or not. It's for the, the confidence building and everything, and that is from where it all started. I think for me personally, leadership was something I always had in me, I'd say from school. And probably I used to see my dad also in all of talks and attend a lot of workshops by Mahe, because I am a faculty child, so I was part of a lot of workshops and everything. I've observed, more like my learning experience is through observation, and then it all started in school with groups, activities, and then college, and being part of the social media team of Mahe. That was something very unexpected, not gonna lie, because it just came. I think because one or two faculties who saw my work online, they suggested to the secretary of our culture coordination committee, and then he saw my work. We have this annual cultural event of Mahe called Utsav. And our not first one, but in COVID, in 2022, it was the first one where I was on the biggest platform, and it was very difficult because we didn't have a full-fledged team. So I was the one who was like running around, taking pictures and putting things up. It's very, very tiresome. I think everyone who's part of whoever uses social media knows how tiring it is to like put anything online, because it's not just, you're not just clicking something and putting it up. It's a whole process of editing, and it's all editing. So all the editing process, it's very tiresome, and it's all planning. You plan कि चलो इसके बाद ऐसा होगा, we do this, we have a certain transition to this video. So the whole planning process, and then you upload. So that I was a single one-man army that time. So it was very, very overwhelming, and it's a 1 week long event. So morning to night basically. So that was there. And then last year in 2023, we had a proper full-fledged social media team, and I'm really grateful for the team that I had. I was there with our faculty coordinators also, choosing people, and the whole experience of leading that team.
Hello. So you will not deny the importance of having a mentor or a faculty coordinator?
No, not at all. It's very, very important, because their sirs have spoken about their perspective of mentorship. And if I were to say from our perspective of mentorship, it's really important because we need a guiding light. We need that guidance in our life, regardless in a personal or professional career. So I was just speaking to my dad when you were introducing everyone. I was telling how the other day I was literally vibing with R.K. Sharma sir, with the way we were speaking. There was a lot that we were speaking, and I could bond with him. I felt that comfort. And I think that is something we really need in a student-teacher relationship. The amount of comfort, the trust, and everything that he spoke. I could agree, I felt relatable, and something that I would want to hear again. I would listen from him. So I think they are the kind of mentors that we are looking for. Of course, there are a lot, they're all experienced, so it makes sense that they can speak a lot. But I think these characteristics are there in the younger faculties too. Yeah, exactly. And so,
Hello, the mic, please. So I just want to know, how would you, anybody, Sanjeev sir or R.K. Sharma sir, how do you combat the challenge of online content? How do you keep the importance of a mentor or a teacher when everything is so easily available online? How we are supposed to be on our toes, and how?
It's very, complicated question, simple we asked. I'll try to sort it out
Yes.
step by. In our time, it's also our time.
Yeah.
But in our time, we were guided. You have to become doctor, you have to become engineer, you have to become this thing. And it was given a tag of comparison with my uncle's son or a daughter that, look, they are going to be IAS, you also become IAS and all that. Then the next phase came, that was not the guidance, that was the scope of partially choosing our career, partially choosing, either you want to be a doctor or an engineer or between that. That phase is over now. The third phase is that now, as I said, it is the value-based life analysis of a human being, and that too in this generation. They have started understanding their values. Their neurons are, having lot of sparks, lot of sparks. What we used to have. We used to be guided and we used to move. Now they are creating a, ambit of an aura, if you really talk to them, they are full of energy. And it is our duty of generation to imbibe that energy in us, and we get charged with that energy, and then we start working in hand in glove with them. It is mentorship. And this is the actual plain definition of mentorship. Mentorship cannot be one way. Yes, you have to understand them. You have to, make them understand value of time, value of money, value of understanding others' views. That is also very important, Your views are important, but
being
what
empathetic.
what is the value of others? That is also very important. And then, as I said, after understanding, the next step comes how to implement it. So we have to be very open-minded, our generation, very open-minded, in computer you get the windows. I think we should have a more than that windows in our mind, our generation, to catch, understand, and without they talk, you should observe their facial expressions. What I do with my students, I was just roughly counting how many students I might have guided by this time. It is more than 3,000 students, UG and PG.
Yeah, I'm going to go one step back before mentorship. See, when it comes to the pressures that the Generation Z faces, something which is universal, a constant is, we need to understand that every person is unique. The way, the methods or the variety of intelligence that each one of us possess. Some of us have auditory intelligence, some of us have visual intelligence. So that's again a variable parameter. The second is learning styles. So see, I have 10 students, and I really fear those who run programs with 50 and 100 students. How do you cluster these students, and how do you make individual educational programs? I know it's a major constraint under a constant syllabus, where the syllabus every day drives you into completing things over a period of time. So one thing which we've kind of taken, which we're working very seriously on back in CMC Vellore, is to minimize or to nullify the amount of work the student carries back post 4:30. I think that's important because that's what Yash, that's what Malvika did say. The work-life balance during our time and the work-life balance during their time is quite different. We need to give them that space. So that's something which we have to, so we have to say learning is during this time and this is for you to enjoy a time of catharsis, go and enjoy yourself. When they come refreshed, there's no use of sending back work to them where they copy from somebody else or copy from the web. During our time, we never had the internet to look into. We had those big books. But here now, just a click of the button and with AI, you get what you want. So it doesn't make sense. It's redundant in asking them to write assignments because they have a much more polished assignment than what you can ever expect as a teacher. So I think that's something we have to take into consideration when we form syllabuses. It's not reducing the content, but make the content a lot more teachable, a lot more learnable, and give them the space to apply it outside. See, when I talk about community settings, traditionally, I'm sure Dr. R.K. Sharma will say, community was going to a village and seeing something. See, back for my students, what we do is, we do have that. We have something called a COP program, it's a community orientation program, a community health program. But beyond that, during their final year or during the internship, before they become actually full-fledged occupational therapists, we send them to a mission hospital where the resources are limited and challenged. They go for a 2-week program, spend time there, and see back in an institution like CMC Vella where they have luxury, okay, as far as equipment goes, as far as therapy goes, in a hospital that's struggling to survive, how do we bring in best practices? Now they come back enlightened. And these are the students who then pass out, who carry the message to other parts of the country and abroad. So I think we need to look at different scenarios like this, challenge them. They want challenges.
Yes.
They don't want to be mundane and sitting in a classroom. They want challenges. And I think we need to create these environments for challenges.
Just right challenge and push the first, I think from both of their this thing, I really come up with this idea of being one, acknowledging their needs, and second, giving them the right amount of challenge, and to sum it up, like growing through what they are going through. So they have to be a part of that experience and just not the didact. With that, I think, as Sanjeev Padankati said, Sanjeev Padankati sir said that introduction of AI or introduction of ChatGPT, I want to ask Bijlani ma'am, who's been conducting COTE since past so many years, how have the topics changed over a period of time, and how do you rack your brains to come up with very unique topics each year?
The proof was what we held the COTE program, pre-conference COTE. It was artificial intelligence and assisted devices in the practice, for the occupational therapy practice. So during I want to say that I, being a boomer, before I become 75, and which is called as lazy, or lazy, or you can say a silent person. So instead of becoming silent, from boomer to silent, I want to become from boomer to X, X to Y, millennial, and from Y to Z.
You want to become XYZ to be, you know.
So this is how we have progressed. What we used to organize COTE programs, they were much different. It was always, you know, occupational therapy in so and so, occupational therapy in so and so condition, which is you have already learned. Nothing like, you know, updated knowledge which the supposed to know. But one complaint I always have it. Even though I want to become a Gen Z, but these Gen Z, there were hardly any people in the hall.
Auditorium.
So we have the conferences. We never used to have conferences for that is what Dr. R.K. Sharma told me before 2000. We want to include them. We want them to learn more and more, but they can't sit for 2 hours or something of it. So this is also some minus point in them, because they want everything what they want.
But I guess the conference coordinators saw to it that it was streamed online, and it will be on an online platform, and we have, I think, taken care of that.
Did they attend all those people? No, I'm not saying
I mean,
that.
we'll give them the benefit of that.
So if I can go from boomer to X to Y to Z. Even I want them also to be little be in match with us. Little. I'm not saying that because the technology, it is a world of technology. I agree with it, and I have also learned it. I never knew how to open the computer. I never knew how to make the PPTs. I didn't know how to make an email. So we have learned. We have been organizing online lectures in the fellowship program. So we have been organizing fellowship program in different, so this is what we are. We want to be in par with them. We want to have a partnership with you people, and we want to mentor you guys. So this is what I have done it. As far as I'm concerned, and so as far as the syllabus is concerned, yes, I agree. We will see to it that it is more, not more, too much specific, but we will see that it is done.
That's a great assurance given by coming from the Dean
Okay.
Accord. I want to ask
Thank you.
Noor, with the Generation Z, with the skills, with the knowledge, with the digital media comes the stress, and how do you deal as a young teacher with the stress of the Gen Z regarding education? I mean, how do we incorporate ideas about sexuality, about their choices of, choices of sexuality, choices of independence, choices of their voice? How do you incorporate that? And the most prevalent stress about self-harm and suicide, they are more prone to.
Yeah, it's
How
a
do you
very,
address that?
very good question. See, nowadays what is happening, we all are having access to
Before that,
various-
if anybody wants to give your question, we can take one question from the audience. If anybody wants to send it, please send it in a chat, please.
So we all are having access to all sort of content online, and with the 15 second of Instagram reel, we are on the daily basis, we are swiping and checking out all the different content, and what is giving it is giving us the temporary kick of dopamine and sense of satisfaction and entertainment, but on the other hand, it is somewhere causing a fatigue, mental fatigue to everyone. So definitely the social media literacy and also the reliability of the content which is available online, whether it's through the chat GPT platform or whether it is through any other source of platform, students need to check the reliability also. And coming to the point of stress and anxiety, with the multiple options available out there, students are becoming more confused and becoming more complex in their thought process. Because of the multiple options available, they don't get the right options to choose within the time, whether it is related to learning, whether it is related to their future career option, whether it is related to their personal choices. So yeah, definitely in the curriculum also, I would suggest that social media literacy should also be inculcated, in which they should understand how dangerous the social media and technology can become. We need to create a balance and educate them that how to handle this sort of technology. Yeah.
The social media.
Yeah, right.
Audible? Hello. Sorry. Sanjeev sir, how do you deal with defiance and improve compliance or the redressals of any kind of problems as a mentor or a head of the department?
Yeah, let me just use
Hello.
what we actually put into practice back into my institution. Now we have, I had occupational therapy and the education aspects as well as the services. Now, aberrations of this nature can happen with students as well as therapists. We have about 100 odd therapists and at any given point about 50 students. Now, there is systems above me who take care of major aberrations, but you realize that, sometimes we have students who are overstressed, students for whom certain life events have put them in the dock. Now, this is where I again go back to this mentorship and batch in chargeship, where these things are picked up early and not left for it to kind of get extremely florid, where we really cannot do much about it. Yes, you need to detect it early, look for soft signs. Okay, one good thing is irregular attendance. Don't wait till absenteeism. Irregular attendance. Okay, some of them might just actually be visiting the staff student health clinic for sick leaves. Claiming illness. Okay, but pick that up. Talk to them. We do have regular types of meetings. We have mediums where they can share what they need to share. I'm not saying we've got a very foolproof, excellent system, but we're striving to get something going so that the students can share. And remember that the batch in charges should not be at a very senior level. They should be just about a couple of years senior to them, where they reach out to them as friends.
So master students kind of.
Yeah, master students, or even undergraduates who are working, who are therapists, who are professionals, but there isn't a major age difference which becomes a barrier. Okay, and so when it comes to this, we do have students who sometimes take the atypical path. Now that is where we need to decide whether the problem is a small problem that can be handled within the department, or this needs to be escalated to the higher education authorities. Now, even there, we try and maintain confidentiality as much as possible, because I think the need of the hour there is confidentiality when you intervene. It should not become public, whatever be the nature of the problem the student is facing. And next, you need to understand that within the rules and frameworks, bend the rules, but don't break it for the student's sake. And you realize that these students then become excellent and competent therapists with the support that you gave them at the time of need. And I have examples, I'm sorry, I cannot reveal those names, but I've got examples plenty to say where we moved away from the traditional path, gave them the scope. 85% attendance, yes. Now the fellow is struggling, he's sitting in 70. Give him various methods to make up his attendance. It's a major reinforcer, and he realizes that he has to repay back with his performance.
We have a question from the audience. In this age of AI, how can one ensure there is no plagiarism? Also, how do we educate people who feel they are pioneers in certain fields that it has been done before? Anybody wants to take up this question? I think it's relating to patency and all that. I think any of you Gen Zs can.
Can you repeat the second part of the question?
Also, how do we educate people who feel they are pioneers in certain fields that it has been done before? Maybe basically plagiarism and duplication of work, which people claim to have been a pioneer in.
Those who are the pioneers should have a patent filed. So that,
Patents,
yeah,
yeah,
patent
yeah.
should be filed. I remember, I hardly see I'm saying, as far as the occupational therapy is concerned, I just give you a simple example. It was just a small splint, that is cortical thumb splint, which that time, during my time when I was in neonatology working as an OT, we had made a splint which is called as for the small babies, which was costing only 5 rupees that time, because it was just a strap, and so everybody told me to have a patent on it so that nobody can say that this is my work. And it's just a sheer laziness, and maybe there were so many formalities to be done, legal, from the you have to take a permission from legal people and proper drafting, apply to so and so people. So and after that, I realized it, there were so many people copying that and saying that, oh, this work, I have done it. So this is what I feel, that we should have a patent to be filed so that nobody can do the duplication.
I think that's a very strong point, and I think, yeah.
Yeah, regarding the reliability of the resources that we get from AI, one point I would like to make is that human intelligence will never replace, AI will never replace human intelligence. So that is a very big misconception. People say that in next 5 years, AI will replace jobs or replace people. In fact, jobs will be changed. Someone will be needed to regulate what AI has to do. So, for example, uh, medical fraternity has already been started using AI. So they have certain apps, softwares, where uh, MRI scans or X-ray scans are directly feed into the system, and based on the algorithm, the system comes with the report that suppose this person has a malignant tumor, this person has a benign tumor. Post that, a physician looks after the scans and tries to match the report. And if he feels there is some error with the report or error with the data, he will definitely make the change. But definitely, the human intelligence will never fade away.
I think the very strong point that is coming up is your putting up researches, making them publish, and we had actually out of 42 papers that were presented, mostly 36 were all young researchers, and I think that that's the Gen Z for us, who are more into research, who are more into creativity, and who are more into designing patency. We had 10 innovative technologies also presented in the same conference. And I think I take a great honor to be a part of this conference because AIOTA gives the platform for such kind of thoughts, and we have changed from, reformed from making models to making innovative technology. I think that's a great paradigm move that AIOTA has taken towards OT education. Sanjeev sir, there's one more question in case if that's
No, I'll
incorporating.
just touch a little bit on this plagiarism. See, let's not, there are multiple softwares to run your information through to see whether you're bordering on plagiarism. I think Lakshman will be touching
Plagiarism
briefly on this
softwares.
because he's gonna talk on the
Common
faults that
errors.
come, fault lines in IJOT. And remember, when you go to good reputed publication houses, when you submit it, they run it through their own software. And anything gets picked up and it's extremely sensitive. But what I would like to tell to budding researchers is this. You need to respect others' work, and where you get information from, please credit them, superscript the reference. Where you say something out of your own ingenuity and from what you have learned, you take credit for it. Some of the information and research might just be superscripted material. So be it. But don't think that you can just cut and paste. That age is gone. Once it leaves your table, things will be checked. And the quality of information, one of the reasons and challenges in IJOT is this. The reason is that we are not touching on these core areas where new learning comes through. I think new learning has to come through. Even if new learning does take place, we are tongue-tied as to how to put this across in the volume of IJOT. So this is something which I think Lakshman will be talking about.
Thank you for that question. We have two questions, I think partly which was answered. Somebody has asked about what should be the mindset of the budding therapist after completion of internship. Like one, as Sir said, like partnering, and then also about respecting the work of others and also taking the due credits for the work done. Anything else that you want to add? Yeah.
I think, see, something that we're striving for is that this period where a person learns what entrepreneurship is.
Entrepreneurship. Yeah.
So this is going to be very important. How do you market yourself as a therapist? It's not just making money at the end of the day, but giving yourself a professional and a self-identity, and how do you take that journey forwards? Now this is going to be very important, and I think this has to be included in our curriculum. Something that I'm asking for is 6 months of university mandated curriculum posting in orthopedics, neurology, community health. The next 6 months is, how do I make my student a competent entrepreneur to go out and work?
Perfect. Yes. Bijlani ma'am, there's a question for you. There's a discrepancy between the PGs in state of Maharashtra and other states, wherein in Maharashtra it is 3 years and in others it is 2 years. Are we doing anything? Can we do anything about it?
Yes, we always, I'll tell you, it is the Maharashtra University started with 3 years because we all, the teachers, the senior faculties in the board, we thought that we wanted to be in par with the medical doctors. So we started with 3 years, and frankly speaking, by keeping us in par with medical doctors, we in Maharashtra, we are paid as per the UGC scale, as whatever now it is UGC scale 7 or something. So what the cardiac surgeon gets the pay, the same occupational therapist faculty also gets it. So
I
there is
think that's
no
a-
difference.
So that I think that that main point has to be
That was the
highlighted
main
here.
point. So whatever
So getting
I
equal
was, as a
opportunity.
professor,
Yeah.
or as an assistant professor or associate professor, it is the same pay scale, because we showed them that we are also having a master's program of 3 years, the undergraduate level 4.5 years, and this is how they considered it. But if we reduce it to 2 years, which I cannot, because everything is not in our hand, so the universities, other universities have made it for 2 years. So it is like Generation Z, who just wants to do everything quick, and finish the master's program. So that is, I think, as per the university also, but I'm always for 3 years. This is what we want, because it is after all specialization. So you get specialized in that field. So this is what we, actually
I-
speaking, I'll tell you, we wanted to bring it to 2 years because everybody started complaining about it. And believe me, the physiotherapy have gone back to the 2 years because there were too many private colleges, and there were a lot of pressure on the private colleges because they were not getting people, because yours is 3 years, and while in all over India it is 2 years. So why should I take admission in your college in Maharashtra? So because there were lots of pressure, so physiotherapy has become 2 years, but we occupational therapists have still maintained as 3 years. So we want to be specialized in that.
compromise on
I'm
education.
saying I'm not blaming other universities. They are also, maybe they have come out with a good
Plan.
occupational therapist, but this is what we leave it on the
Respective state,
yes,
respective
institutions
universities.
and the universities
Respective
concerned,
universities.
affiliated universities.
Sir, yes.
On this aspect, I fully agree with Madam, but there is this other side of the coin also, which we should always analyze before we take any policy decision or long-term and short-term. At present, okay, University Grant Commission is providing UGC scales for teachers, but it's not the teachers, the clinicians and other, occupational therapy aspects are there where people are getting jobs and all. There still it is not standardized salaries and all that. It is consolidated somewhere, what. So National Commission is already on platform. It is working. So only the AIOTA will be the flag bearer from that platform. If it goes 2 years or 3 years, it all depends upon that what best benefit we are getting out of 2 years and out of 3 years. After we are investing the 1 year of a life of a person before settling down. That is very important, what I feel, and I think all academicians may also feel more or less the other side of the coin. 1 year, if we are spending extra for getting post-graduation, on other side 2 years they are spending, and after they are equally placed by the UGC, that scales and everything, so we need to analyze it
Streamline
more
it
at
and
a micro
maybe,
level.
Maybe this is now a kind of seeding of thought, and
Yes.
we need to kind of take it at large.
Yes,
and
because
brainstorm over it.
I have experienced that students in Maharashtra, they sometimes don't want to go for 3 years, and also this generation, there is other scopes also. Students are leaving occupational therapy, they are going to other fields and all. They got scope up because it's a money point, money matters. And then in shortest time they want to earn more money.
Right.
Now it's the trend, in this generation, that they will go in some other specialization other than occupational therapy. So we have to consider, I think, all aspects before, we recommend to the government for parity. because we are not equal to doctors, we are having parity with them. We can have a parity with them. And Nagpur High Court passed the judgment of for the UG scale for I will fail in my responsibility if I don't share that time it was Nagpur court was having a parity of the teachers, and I happened to be there, and I presented in the court, and that was the last day of hearing, and we were about to lose. Then I requested our advocate to please permit me to speak. I asked only, my lord, how 1 horsepower can be compared with 2 horsepower. MBBS has got 2 graduation, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, and Occupational Therapy has a single graduation. And if the appointing authority is the same, and the nature of work is the same, then disparity in the pay scale cannot be there. Based on that, table was turned. So it was a total teamwork for that. So like this, I think we have to go analytically that what step we are taking forward, because we are thinking about the next generation.
Right.
Not our own this thing.
Right.
Thank you.
So I think we should now have one quick, anybody wants to express, only one person from the audience. Yeah, ma'am, please. Punita, ma'am. Shovan, sir, we will take your this thing later because half of your voices are already spoken here. That's why I said the half of the voice. Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sriharsh Jagirdar, for giving me an opportunity to comment on. I'm really glad to hear all the voices from different generations. They've put up all really excellent points. Just to add to it, as we are in the phase of curriculum development at National Council, myself, Punita Solanki, I'm working as a professor in D.Y. Patil. So we are currently in the process of developing semester-wise curriculum for BOT program, and we are also following the national education policy, wherein, like the Generation Z, like they were saying about having, not just the core curriculum, you need to have some additional points as well. So it says that you should have, some different course baskets, like the prerequisites, then the medical subjects, then the core occupational therapy subjects, and there is something called elective course basket, wherein like we had already formulated the course baskets and discussed in the Board of Studies. Like the elective course baskets were such as, for example, leadership module, then personality development module. So in each semester there would be, say, 2 modules on all these additional things, so that by the end of the graduation, a person is not just an occupational therapist. He is an all-rounder human being who is able to tackle all his basic things that he has to face the real world as a therapist or as a human being. That was the one point. And the second thing is regarding what Dr. Sanjeev pointed out was really good, that the curriculum that we prepare, we think that all human beings are same. But he rightly pointed out the humans are different, and everybody's learning needs and methods would be different. So like the curriculum is prepared based on Bloom's taxonomy at graduate level, and wherein we have to see that from level 1 to 6, maybe we focus only on the initial levels of Bloom's taxonomy. And as regards specific learning, there's something called solo taxonomy. So you need to include those teaching methods so that some individuals who have unique ways of learning, we are catering to those needs as well by inculcating those teaching methods. So we have been in the process of doing this.
That's nice. Thank you. Thank you for
and
your...
And one more point regarding plagiarism.
Briefly, yeah.
Regarding plagiarism, I think there are some universities in India, and I experienced this because we had one extern last year. They, like at internship, the projects or the case reports that they submit in soft copy, and it was one of the mandate that we have to do a plagiarism check. So right from graduate level, they are aware that there is something called, you need to have your own writings and the words and plagiarism terminology is being taught at a graduate level.
Okay. So I think Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, all the dissertations of PGs and PhDs go through a plagiarism checklist before they are actually approved. So we
Sir, before we end this session, I would just like to add a point which we can discuss later. So, as occupational therapists, I think we have confined our career aspects to very few options. Like after internship or masters, you can either work as a private, work in a private setup or government setup, or maybe you can go into teaching or researcher. But I think one thing that we need to discuss as youngsters is about entrepreneur skills and startups. So I would like to give an example. There is a company known as Your Food Doctor. You must have heard it. It was featured last year in Shark Tank India. So what it does is, very basic idea is that they make customized foot arches for flat feet, and they what they do is they have a simple material which can be molded with the heat gun. So they call you. If you have a problem, they will come to your house. They will take your measurements, and on the spot they will make the modifications and give it into your foot, which is aesthetic, comfortable, and they, both of the founders were not from medical background. None of them was occupational therapists. In fact, they took our idea and took 70 lakh of funds from Shark Tank India. So I think this is one aspect
So,
where we can work
developing ourselves
definitely.
as
In
entrepreneurs.
fact, we make innovative technologies every year, but has anyone thought of patenting it or maybe taking it on a large scale? So
Yeah.
that is one point we can discuss ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'll have to summarize the session. Yes. And so the themes that we came up with in this whole entire panel discussion is about one, having the parallel skills of leadership and entrepreneurship, also being partnering in the whole educational process of right from developing a curriculum to sustaining the curriculum, and also the Indian context of learning. I think yesterday only Dr. Raghuram has released his book in occupational therapy, and we have so many authors, Dr. Amitabh Dwivedi sir, Apte sir, there are so many authors who have written from an Indian context. Also, we had Roshan Galwan who had written on Southern perspective of occupational therapy. So I think there is a shift in this thinking process, and also we as a teachers for Gen Z, we need to update our skills, and we try to bridge, as we say. We do not invite them, but we go into their space and kind of reform ourselves to have a better mentorship. Also, we need to tap the different learning strategies for each different individual, and we need to, the most important thing that came is tap early for any kind of distress. Tap early and save the youth. Thank you. Thank you for all the panelists for being so elocutive and expressing yourself. And thank you, Mr. NM, Mr. SP, Mr. RK, Mr. JNB, I'll sound it, otherwise she was always hearing her Gen Z, and YD and MS. So that's how we transfer from this stage from being Gen X to Gen Z. Thank you all for being a patient listener. Thank you.
I'm sure all of you had a wonderful time listening to this great panel discussion and the enthusiastic Gen X to Gen Zs. I'd like to call Mrs. Pratibha Vaidya to please felicitate Jyotika Bijlani ma'am. Can we have Shovan Saha sir felicitate RK Sharma sir, please? Can Neeraj Mishra sir please come to felicitate Dr. Sanjeev Padangati? have Amitabh Dwivedi sir to please come felicitate Noor Mohammed. And can we please have President Sir Srivastava sir to felicitate the two Gen Z students?